Hope you're well. Welcome to my channel. So this is where I talk about twin flame process, and this is going to be a weekly energy reading for the week before Christmas. It's the 18th of December today, so until I guess next weekend around then. And before I start, just to say that if anybody wants to get a personal reading, the details are in the description box below, and also I'm having an offer. I have an offer on for discounted readings for the holiday period, so until January, basically, beginning of January. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the details on the website on the booking page, and they're also in the description box below, and you can book through the website if you haven't gone through that process before. Okay, so let's have a look at what the week has got to offer us in terms of twin flame process. Starting the week, 18th December, I've got no idea where the moon is. I'm not even going to look. Let's just get some cards out and have a look and do it that way instead. Maybe. We'll see how we go. Right. Okay, so as always, they're talking about twin flame reunion as the pinnacle of the twin flame process. So they're saying we're approaching the final destination at speed. So they're kind of showing the Ace of Wands in my head. And on top of that, the world is balancing. And they're saying, and the world is representing completion. They're saying approaching completion rapidly. Right, so like a spaceship hurtling through space, about to arrive at its final destination. Queen of Swords. So it's all about the feminine mind and how you operate through your mental perspective. The feminine, that is. Temperance, dark to light, and also light to dark. So whichever way it swings, you know, sometimes you're going towards the dark, sometimes you're in the light. The Star, healing. They're saying above all else, it's about healing. They're saying as well, it's like they're saying take a long, slow drink. Like healing is a very kind of languorous process. It's something where you just you can't kind of push it faster than it'll go, and it's really a less is more approach to healing. So healing is fundamentally a letting go. So there's some kind of letting go coming in the mind of the feminine. Again, they're talking about turning the lights off. I think that's why they've got the dark on top here in the light to dark. It's like turning the lights off. So you're turning your brain off, basically. And that's why the healing is long and slow, they're saying, because the process of turning the brain off, which is part of the process of the twin flame process, because it's turning off the mental capacity, the human predilection to overthink, right, and kind of get tangled up in worries and repetitive thoughts, which is a very human way to be, to let the mind run riot on its own without any kind of overseer, you know, without any broader perspective of, oh, this is just my mind, look at my mind going round and round and round, would be the broader perspective. So the healing is about accessing that broader perspective. So instead of being in the eye of the storm with your thoughts and not being able to see the wood for the trees, just a thought is just a thought, it's kind of pulling backwards, like pulling back a camera lens and widening the perspective on what is actually going on and saying, oh, those are just my thoughts going round and around and around. Let me detach from those. And that's how the healing goes, they're saying. So it's detaching from thought is the healing. It's in the feminine. Excuse me while I undo my pants because I've just eaten lunch and it's quite a... I just stuffed myself. Right, hang on. That's better. let go. I've got to let those pants go. Right, um, so the fundamental aspect of self, right, the brain, slowing it down, turning it off, relaxing, relinquishing, letting go, not worrying, not complaining, not explaining, not justifying. So this is all inside yourself. It's not what you... Sometimes you have a conversation inside your head, right? You could be talking to anybody that you know. Sometimes. And sometimes it's just to yourself, right? It doesn't really matter which it is, whether it's anybody else or to yourself. It's the act of what goes on in the brain and the kind of going on and on and on and on to yourself about things and trying to like belittle, berate. They're saying, you know, sometimes you're like telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have bought that, I shouldn't have said that. What do they think of me now? There's that kind of thing that goes round and round. The belittling, you know, as well of self, which is like, oh God, look what I did, oh my God, you know, it's like a kind of shame thing that runs around. There's all sorts of different mental scripts that can run around and round and round. It's not about the thought itself or who you're saying to inside yourself, inside your head. It's about what it is. And it's about relinquishing it and letting it go. So it's just bringing it to a halt and a finish line and an end point, and just a simple statement of I'm not going to think anymore. I'm not going to think about that anymore. Whatever it is that's going round and round. So, and it's multiple. It's not just one thing at one time. It's lots and lots of different things all over the place, all over the time, you know, that you've been alive. So things come back round, right? Oh, for a long time ago, things can come back round that you're thinking about again. That is, they're saying just set it free and let it go. Well, all of them, anything, all of it. Set it free, let it go, stop. Just say, I'm not going to think about that again. I've thought about that enough times. I've flogged that one to death, you know, flogging a dead horse. Not going to come to any other conclusion because I came to a conclusion that was a conclusion a long time ago. So I guess it's about like the world, you know, and having to come back round to things again until it's the last port of call. It's the last time you do it. So something like that coming around. Ten of Pentacles, we've got completion in the physical world and everything coming to you as well through that in the physical world. So that's like abundance showing up in your physical environment through switching your brain off. And using it to full advantage, they're saying as well. So for example, do you want a car? So what you're going to do if you want a car, you're going to go out on the street, you're going to stand on the street and you're going to look at all the cars go by and you're going to say which ones you like. And you're going to decide which one you like and you're going to keep looking at the ones that you like. And that way you're going to bring more of the ones that you like to look at. And then you're going to decide you like even more of those ones that you like until it's time for you to bring one along to yourself, right? So that's how you bring a car along. So how you bring anything along in the physical world is by by focusing on what you want. Very clearly and precisely focusing on what you want. And if you don't know what you want, look at what you might want and decide what you want. You can look in magazines, you can look in books, you can look on the internet, you can look on the TV, but avoid the adverts with sad donkeys and things. That doesn't help anybody. So you want to look for what you want, you want to focus on what you want. You just want to bring yourself multiples, you see, multiples, exploration of multiples. I mean, how many cars do you like? You might like a lot of different cars. You might want a car that's got a hatchback. There's lots of different cars that have got a hatchback. But you've got to keep looking at them to decide which one you really, really want. You decide the price you want to pay for it before you look for it. So you're deciding what your price range is before you've even looked for the car. So you know what you're going to pay for the car. When you find the car, it's going to be the price that you want to pay. And it's not going to be more than the price you want to pay, and that the car will just show up. And there's your car. And bang, there's your car, right? So exploration of multiples, number 10 in the physical world. Use your brain for that. Ending, 10 of Swords, an ending in the mind, right? So it's an ending of the the brain as a faculty of worry and stress and limitation, and it's the bringing in of the use of the brain as a bringer of everything that you desire by creating multiple opportunities to bring what you desire. So that's what we've got going on as well this week. Coming into the light, right, from the dark. So the dark is where there's nothing appearing around you, because all you're focused on inside is your worries and your stresses and your shames. So you start worrying on those things and looking at those things, and you start to open up, take the lid off, widen the perspective, get out and about, or get online or wherever it is, or look out your window and look at what you want, and start to open up to what you want and view what you want, and then bring in what you want. So it's turning on the light, right? It's like, that's what my brain's for. That's what my brain's for. Okay, so I don't have to worry. No, you don't have to worry. All you have to say is, this is what I want. This is mine. This is what I'm having. It's time. This kind of thing, right? Yeah. Physical, Queen of Pentacles in the physical domain. So bringing what you want in the physical domain. Groundedness, that's the groundedness, right? It's the wholeheartedly understanding that you bring everything through law of attraction. And that grounding, that belief and that understanding into your physical time frame, your working format in the physical world is that. So it's not anything else, right? So turning a tap off, they're saying, here. Something is coming to a conclusion, turning a tap off in terms of emotion, negative emotion. And I feel like sadness and grief coming to an end. You might feel it inside your physical body, physical healing, emotion, but you're not going to venture into it in the mind. So there's no exploration of what it is. So if you feel yourself feeling vulnerable emotionally, all of a sudden feeling sad and gloomy and sensitive and maybe sentimental, and you start to feel that feeling coming up, and you feel it rise inside your physical body, right? So it moves through your underbelly up to your heart, and it's like it wants to break through this emotional these emotions. So your understanding of that is that that's your twin, right? Your twin is the wounded warrior, so they're the sad one. You're the one that's here to learn the law of attraction and to learn to stay committed to your point of attraction, which is you're feeling good. So without any resistance, when the feeling comes up, you acknowledge the feeling, you say, that's how I feel, but you don't allow the feeling to overtake your position in your physical time frame here, in your work of staying grounded in your location of feeling good, where you're focused on what you want in a very positive and frequent way. So it's multiples, it's a multiple operation. So you can still have an emotional feeling rising inside you, but you don't go towards it and let it overcome you like it's wrapping you in a blanket and you can't function. You just notice it's there and you carry on. And you carry on with what it is that you're doing, which is creating. 3, Queen, physical, creating your physical environment in becoming everything that it's going to be. Right, everything that's going to match up to how you feel. And how you feel is you feel pretty good, despite the fact there might be some emotions coming up that are rising up that you know aren't yours, they're your twins. Because they're the sad one, they're the wounded one. Once you're healed, they're the wounded one still, so they're still going to come up inside you. But you have to take authority over that and not let it become you, so that you're mastering that for them. And then they become you. So they become a creator of their own destiny. So they're able to move forward towards you. Feeling good. Right? You're bringing them into the feeling good. You're creating the feeling good for 2. Emotions, 4 of Cups. Right? So that's what's coming up. There's something still there that needs to be... Well, what does it need to do? It's going to come up because it's going to come up. It just needs to be acknowledged. It's going to need to be acknowledged because, of course, you have to acknowledge the emotions that are rising up in you. You can't deny your emotions because they are there. But also you can acknowledge the emotion is not yours, it's your twins, and that's coming up inside of you because you're connected to them emotionally, you're connected to them emotionally, you're connected to them mentally. So you notice the emotion coming up is them, and then you notice the mentality, right? As I've already spoken about, the mentality and the creating through your creative vision and your visuals is how you need to use the brain to thrive and to rise into your accepting of the law of attraction being your main operation, rather than the worry and the spiraling back down into the pit of despair, into the dark. You rise up into the light, you spiral up into the light through pure through a let go, basically. You let go of the dark, you rise into the light. You let go of the worry, you rise into the positive, into the prospects of the positive, into the abundance that's there all around that you will bring into your life by doing that. So, and because you're connected through the brain, so will they'll come up into the light. So, and it's ongoing work, right? It's not just a one-time event, it's ongoing, because it's a process, which means something's ongoing. Basically, like we didn't know that, but it's ongoing. I guess that makes sense, right? And the Nine of Pentacles, which is the power of the feminine, right? So it's the rising into the light, letting go of the worry and the stress is your power in the physical domain, because you just stay in the light then. There's some kind of refusal to worry coming along. It might have already happened this week, where you're just like, I'm not going to think about that, I'm not going to think about that, I'm not going to think about that. Every time it comes up, a negative comes up, you're putting a lid on it straight away, like you're putting out little fires of what could be worry. You're just immediately throwing the water on there, right? And putting them out, because they're coming up in your twin, they're not coming up in you, but you'll notice them in you because they're coming up in your twin. So when you put them out in you put them out in your twin. So ending in the brain. Ace of Swords, which is brand new communication coming from all of this. So your brain, ending in the brain, and then Queen of Swords, right? Your brain, feminine brain. Ten of Swords, ending mentally, ending in the brain. Death to the worry, basically. Ace of Swords, brand new communication. So it's coming through your brain. What's coming outside of you in communication from your twin is first of all happening inside of you. So you turning off the worry will turn off the faucet. So like they're saying turning off a tap, it's going to turn off the watery tap that's inside the masculine, this draining feeling, this feeling like they can't move forward because they're too overwhelmed with like negativity and stress and feeling bad and worry and shame and all these other emotions and thoughts and stuff that need to be turned off. So you turning them off and they're turning them off because you're turning them off. And then you're rising into the light and into your power. Completion in the physical through you physically. You are physical beingness here, and this is where we actually are going to this week, right? This is the trajectory. This is after this week. This is this week. Fruition in the physical. So we got something coming in the physical through the labour of love, they're saying, which has been the process that you go through. So labour of love, because it is a labour of love, right? Even though whatever it is that you've been through, and you've probably been through a lot of dark energy and a lot of woe is me and a lot of ups and downs and a lot of all over the places and a lot of, so far away from your point of attraction that you've been like blown away from it in a storm, and you're trying to reach out and grab hold of it again and you can't even get hold of it. And a lot of that going on, flailing around, they're saying, just like like a tornado would pick you up and just throw you around the place. This process has been like that, a lot of it. But you're coming into ground. So you're coming into ground here, and that's the fruition is going to come from you coming into ground on your own. On your Joneses, right? All on your own, first of all. Ten of Swords, resistance, Seven of Wands. So that's the resistance, right? It's all in the mind. It's what comes up in the mind. So when you turn off the mind, you turn off the resistance. When you refuse to acknowledge any kind of negative thought or concept coming up inside of yourself in relation to your thoughts, when you acknowledge what resistance is inside of yourself, where you're fighting, you're trying to block something in terms of yourself, inside yourself. Maybe you're trying to block some emotion, they've got emotions here. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to feel it anymore. But you might not want to feel it anymore, but you're in twin flame process. So you're going to feel it. So you stop feeling it because they're feeling it. Right? So you can't fight against that. You just got to acknowledge it. That's not me. That's them. Let me let go then. Let me let go. Let me feel better. Kind of you put them to the side, right? So they're not the main event. You just put them to the side inside yourself. So they're over there. And you get on with your feeling good right down here. So you stay in line. It's like having a little child running around your ankles, At some point, you just got to sit down. Well, the child might keep running around, but you still got to sit down. Or the dog or whatever, the puppy, At some point, you just got to give it up and let go. And stop, letting this child run rings around you. You've got to say, I'm going to feel good no matter what. Even though those feelings that come up inside myself, I'm going to feel good because I know it's not me. Go with the flow, Queen of Cups underneath everything. So exactly, you've got to go with the flow, right, with the emotions. You don't have to go right into them like with arms open, like, oh, come get me, sadness and grief. Let's really get into this. You don't need to do that. If you can just acknowledge it and then get on with feeling good, why not? You don't always have to. If you don't, sometimes, especially twin flame process, there is an urge, a feminine urge to really get into these feelings of desperation and sadness and loss and some, the start of the journey, the process, it's inevitable that you will because you're clearing those feelings. But at the end, when you felt them so many times, like they say, it comes round and around and around and around and again, you can sometimes just sidestep. I know because I do it myself. I do it a lot. So without putting up any resistance, I can sidestep my twin coming in, thoughts of that, without feeling any pain. I can be non-committal inside myself towards what's coming along, which is a lovely place to be, actually, because it means I'm not leaving my point of attraction. I'm staying feeling good all the time. You can practice with things. I practiced today walking along thinking again about that movie Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know I did get a little hooked, actually, with that emotion that came up. So, but it's good to practice emotions coming up and not allowing yourself to get hooked by them if they're negative. It's a good practice. You've got to practice to get it right. Okay, Queen of Swords and love coming out, and the one, right, and the love. And it's authority and power, like they're saying, right? So it's over your brain. It's really authority and power over sentimentality is what it is. It's staying just a little bit like on your tippy toes, just like light of foot around things like that and not getting your boots stuck in the mud with it, because you can get your boots stuck in the mud and before you know it, you're lying on the bathroom floor crying your eyes out. You can't stay light on your feet like you're Muhammad Ali, just like bouncing around the ring around things like sentimentality. You're going to give it a run for its money, right? You can see it's there, it's there, it can hook you, but that means you don't step right in it. Not unless you're being asked to for your process, but they're not saying that here, right? This is what they're saying here. But yes, sometimes you're asked to go wade right in. Wade right in. Like, like Claire in Jurassic World Dominion when she wades all the way through into the water. Ace of Swords, process, communication, process. Hanged Man, created through the process. 2 aces as well. So at the start of the process, your brain and the love and the one, right? And it's all about that. So you think about them all the time. You feel for them all the time. It's debilitating how much it overtakes you and takes you away from feeling good, right? An ending of that and resistance, and an ending of the resistance because you're fleet of foot around what is that love. And then communication coming through that process that you've gone through, basically. And the Hanged Man is saying just wait a little longer, a little more time, but not much. Not much, just a little bit more dodging. A little bit more dancing around the ring. The Star, shift, point, emotions shifting. 4 of Cups, and a new road forward opens up. Let's go here. 10 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So completion of the masculine and also into form. So them coming into form, arriving in form, basically, showing up in form. Because remember, they got underneath is what shows up in the physical, go with the flow with what's arriving this week, what's you're feeling this week. That's what that means. When I say arriving emotionally, arriving mentally, observing it, acknowledging it, broadening your perspective on it, not getting pulled into it unless it's being guided, pulled in. Sometimes it is. Queen of Pentacles, form showing up, Page of Pentacles, the form showing up from the process, basically. Brand new, number 1. So that's what we're bringing in. And where else we've got to go? Light to dark, Temperance, 2 people. So you're bringing the other one into the light. You're bringing your masculine into the light. So to stand next to you in the light, basically. And everything arises, they're saying a positive angle. Coming in from a positive angle. A positive place. A reunion that's positivity. That's got potential and opportunity. Juicy and fleshy and ripe and, pulsatingly tasty. That is coming in like that, right, with all the potential and the positivity that's arising. And that is all the physical stuff as well, because the potential is the physical and everything that comes with that, the desires being met, the senses being indulged in all sorts of ways. So you might find you're indulging your senses this week as well, actually. Maybe you're eating nice food and languishing, they're saying, in like comfort and luxury. 9 of Pentacles, an ending. 10 of Wands is an ending energetically. So from the 9 in the Pentacles, you coming into your state of abundance and power, which is being in your point, which means you have come into your point of attraction and you are bringing all you desire. And as well, you've got to broaden your perspective with that, because when it starts to come in, it isn't always going to look like how you think it should look. It's not always going to be someone coming and giving you something for free. For example, sometimes it's being guided to manipulate your physical dimension to give you exactly what you need. Because the power is no fear at all, so you will have no fear of anything. You won't have any, like we were talking about banks last week, right? You won't have any fear of the banks. You won't have any fear of people being on your case, giving you a hard time, giving you the runaround, giving you a rundown. You won't have any fear of anything going wrong in the physical dimension. You will just feel like everything's going to work out for me. I can do whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. I can wear whatever I want. I can be whoever I am. I'm not going to worry about a single thing. And you will feel lighter because of it. So you'll find yourself just feeling lighter and feeling easier and feeling free and feeling relaxed and feeling wonderful and feeling like you don't have a care in the world, because you don't have a care in the world, because you turned it all off and you don't worry about anything. You're not worrying about, oh, will the law of attraction really pay off for me? You're just doing it anyway, just like, let's wait and see. And even the let's wait and see feeling is better than the feeling like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work out for me. Right? So the ending is kind of, it's like the ending happens as the beginning starts. There's not like an end where you get like the trumpeter in the judgment card, like blowing a trumpet going, okay, it's all over. You can go back to normal now. You can start worrying again now. You can start feeling all your emotions and their emotions and not paying heed to what's going on in terms of process. You can, like, go back down into the depths of the dark right now because it's all over, and then something turns up. It's like, no, the trumpet might go off, but it's saying, well, you're in the light, stay there. You've got to stay there. Notice where you are, stay in the light, stay in the light, stay in the light, right? The ending comes as the beginning comes. As the lights go on, everything has not left the stage necessarily when the lights go on. Things, have still got to be rearranged somehow. And you can see all the workings of it going on, maybe. This is how it feels. Because the ending to resistance, look, it's all coming at once. Ending in the mind, the resistance. And all this coming at once in the physical because of that. But there's the dark to light there with the two of you. It's like tuning in a radio. It crackles a bit till you get the right spot. And even then it might be a bit crackly still. It's kind of like that twin flame reunion. It's like you're tuning in to the same wavelength. Well, it is vibration. So it's little crackle, crackly, crackle until it hits that spot, right? But the crackle is everything changing. And the energy changing, right, in everything that you do and that you are and that you feel and that you see and that you think. It's everything changing. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that till next time. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.